Welcome back, family, to Gamecock Hoops with Coop. And on this channel, our mission is to grow the game of women's basketball, starting with our Lady Gamecocks. Woo, woo! I know y'all feel good like I feel good because we back in this dub column, right? Our Lady Gamecocks were able to defeat the Vanderbilt Commodores 103-74. And I'm just going to keep it a buck because that's all I can do on this channel. This game was over before Vanderbilt realized what hit them. Why? Because our legendary coach, Dawn Staley, threw a curve. Let's get into it. I know some of you guys out there are like, curve. Yes, curve was the game plan that Coach Staley implemented today. And I'm going to break that acronym down. Let's start with the C. C stood for coaching intent, right? I told you guys on the previous video when we were doing a preview of the game that Coach Staley was going to be on fire this game, right? She usually, the type of coach roll the ball out, go through the motion, sit on the bench. She might roll the paper up a little bit, smack it a couple times, but she was up on her feet this game. Why? Because she knew that this game was important. This game was the game to get us back on track. And even the announcers in the broadcast said Coach Staley was bringing some energy like they weren't used to her seeing. She wanted her players to follow her lead, which they did, and say, hey, this ain't just your average basketball game. We mean business, and hey, we gonna take care of business today. So she was in the game every second of the game. Even when they got a big lead, she still was up and coaching, right? Because Coach Staley, I knew she was going to bring that type of coaching style to this game on her feet. I mean, even if you watched it on TV, you saw that every time she had a problem with what the ref was calling, and the young lady ref on the opposite side of the floor, man, she was giving her the business right now. This is a kid show, so I can't repeat some of the stuff that she was saying, but just know it's some of them words that would make my grandma clutch her pearls and say, "Ooh, Lord." Hey, Coach Staley said, hey, I don't mean no harm, but I need you calling this game the right way, right? So she was locked in with that coaching intent. Her troops definitely followed her lead today. And one thing I know about great leaders like Coach Staley, they don't just react to moments, they enter them prepared. And that's what preparation looks like. She prepared her team today, and it showed on that scoreboard. Moving on to the letter U in the word curve. U stood for unexpected move, right? Now, mind you, on the previous video, I was saying coach and her staff may shake up the starting lineup, putting Turner-Beasy in, and taking Okada out because she wasn't as physical. She didn't have enough energy. And she did make a change up to that starting lineup. But boy, I wasn't expecting her to go with another guard instead of another big. Coach Staley usually run those traditional offenses, 2 bigs, 3 guards. But today, she wanted to shake that thing up. She put Joyce down at the 5, that was our only big, and 4 guards. And I mean, I know this move was unexpected to the Vandy coach because, man, when we came out, it was like our Lady Gamecocks was shot out of a cannon the way that they was diving on the floor and hustling because we went on a run immediately. Those girls on the defensive end, that extra length from McKeer at the guard position, boy, I'm telling you, it was giving Vanderbilt fits. We had that full court pressure and it was giving them fits. That is great coaching, right? Pulling out a rabbit out of the hat because we do have the talent. I was talking to somebody in the previous video in the comments. They were thinking that Vanderbilt actually has more talent than us. No way, Jose. Vanderbilt is not more of a talented team than our South Carolina Gamecock, right? Some of the times these girls are just used to winning, right? We'll go out there just lackadaisical and just kind of go through the motion. But I tell you what, that Oklahoma game woke them up, right? And I might be misquoting this famous quote, but it says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Coach Staley is a great recruiter. We got all the talent in the world, but they got to understand that you got to work. Why? Because we have a target on our back. Every team we play, every team that we play, right? It's a target on our back. So more than not, we're going to be getting every team's best effort because they know, hey, we can play this way against this team. But when old South Carolina comes into town, you better be on your P's and Q's. You better dot those I's and cross those T's, because if we don't, we can get ran out of the gym. So those teams, they get up for those games, right? And we got to stay in that constant state of mind, and we need to stay in that dog mentality too. I don't care, and no disrespect to Coppin State, but I don't care if it's a Coppin State. I don't care if it's a Texas. I don't care if it's a Vanderbilt. We have to learn to play the same way all the time. Back to the going for a second, back to the C. That coaching intent, whether we were up at the beginning of the game by 9 or 10, or it was towards the end of the game when we were up by almost 30, Coach Staley was still coaching the same way. And I think she's leading, and she wants to see that in her players. She wants them to say, hey, I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care what the score is. We need to bring it every single game with a high level of intensity and focus like we did this game. That unexpected move set the tone from the jump, because sometimes leadership isn't loud, it's strategic, it's the strategy, right? Moving on to the letter R in the word curve, response. This is big, right? Whenever you're coaching, you have different types of players. Some players can take all that yelling and getting on them, right? And they respond well, right? Other players, you got to talk to them a little bit easier, or get another player to talk to them, because they can't handle all of that. They may shut down. I'm pretty sure that they probably have multiple one-on-one meetings with Okai saying, hey, we need you. We can't do this thing without you. We need that Okai who played the schedule prior to the SEC conference. We need that Okai to show up for us to be able to be a championship level team. So they must have been talking to her. So I guess coach and her staff eventually went to, we're not going to start her. Let's just let her catch the tone and the energy of the game and see how she's followed. And boy, once she seen McCure out there and those girls diving for those balls, when she subbed in, we got the old Wakat back, right? We got the old Wakat back. When I say, beast mode when she came in, grabbing rebounds, stealing the ball from the people she's guarding. That's the effort she needs. And guess what? Those little chip shots, those rebounds, and putting it back in, she was making them tonight. Yeah, she was making them tonight. Block shot. Boy, that's the kind of effort that we need to be successful. And sometimes when you're coaching, the talking don't work. You have to try different things to see what's going to push that button up your player to get the best out of them. And hats off to Coach Staley, because she got the best out of Okot. Okot had a great game, right? A great game. Let me look at the stats real quick. In 20 minutes of play, 17 points, 8 out of 9 from the field, 7 rebounds. She did have 4 turnovers, but that's okay. She was working, right? We need to see that effort. You should be able to see that effort through the screen or feel it when you're at the game. She said, hey, I saw my minutes going down a little bit. I think last game she played 17, but she said, hey, I ain't going to roll over and give up. Hey, the old Cot is back, right? She just has to stay consistent. She's back, and we're going to need her. Vanderbilt felt every bit of that 6-6 down low today. It wasn't nothing they could do with her, right? She got that positioning. She used her size to go to work, and that's what she has to, and that's what she's going to have to do, regardless of the opponent. Whenever she comes into this game, come into the game with the intent to dominate the opposing post players. Moving on to the next letter in the word curve is B, and B stood for violence in the paint. Not only was Okot violent in the paint, Joyce Edwards, I told you she'd be back, right? Joyce Edwards was a monster in the paint, from rebounding to scoring to just effort, defense. Hey, they act like they wanted to win today, y'all. They said, hey, we got that L. We don't like how that feel, right? We don't like how that feel. We felt like we should have got that Oklahoma game, and they came out like they meant business. Like it was the champ. They was playing like it was the championship game, and that's what you got to do. And not only Joyce Edwards, Tanaya Latson, right? We know she can shoot that. We know she can shoot that three ball a little bit, but hey, she wasn't selling it for that three. You know what she was doing? Jab step, driving that ball in, putting it off the glass, and one. I think even though Okai, I'm not sure how many and ones we got, but Okai, because of her, you know, she had a lot of emotions and frustration build up inside of her. But on one of them and ones, and one. The camera panned to her, yelling out, and one. Hey, you got to let that thing out and attack that basket. This is what we do at South Carolina. Beat people up in the post. And we got the talent and we got the players to continue to do that this year. Play that inside-outside game. Joyce Edwards, 16 points, 7 to 10 from the field, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Beautiful game from Joyce Edwards. Not only was she scoring, she was dishing that thing out, getting her teammates involved, right? And that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. And last but not least, the letter E, right? Ending the word curve, the energy, but not only the energy, it stood for the execution. Man, we were diving on the floor. Every rebound, the way that they were playing today, it looked like they said in their head, this ball is mine. Now, we only was +6 in the rebounds. I think it was 32 rebounds we had. They had 26. It's because we weren't missing that many shots. We were passing up good shots to get great shots. That's why the offense looked a lot better. We wasn't forcing it. Remember on the previous video, it seemed to me like, you know, Joyce was kind of forcing Okai, Tanaya. We was kind of forcing shots that it really wasn't our shot. But tonight we were patient, right? Sometimes you got to be patient. It's not just a good shot. You make that one more pass, you get a great shot. Where they not kind of open, they all the way open. And we can knock it down. And we're taking great shots, right? So that energy, that execution takes us to the next level. And I'm going to tell you right now, Gamecock Nation, I know a lot of people talk about, you know, UConn is undefeated. They beating everybody by 40, 50, 60 points. But I'm going to tell you right now, if our South Carolina Gamecocks play the way that they played versus Vanderbilt and our bigs bring it, right, and our guards are locked in on defense, I'm going to tell you this. We can hang with anybody in the nation. That's right. We can play with anybody in the nation. And old UConn, hey, don't think you got it in the bag just yet, because all it takes is one game whenever we in a March, right? When we get in that March Madness tournament, all it takes for us to be clicking, like you say today, and guess what? We hadn't reached our full potential. Alicia Turner-Beasley still getting acclimated, right? She ain't reached her potential yet. She's understanding, hey, it's a little bit more physical in the States than it is in France in the league that she was playing in. Hey, we're coming, and we're not done yet. We are not done yet. Who else had a good game offensively? Kay Leave-Out, Tessa Johnson, 20 points, 7 to 12 from the field, 4-7 from 3. When Tessa got it going like that, and they inside out, kicking that ball out, making that extra pass, and Tessa got a wide open 3, man, I think she's almost 50% from 3 this season, right? When Tessa got it going, we saw what she did in the championship game a couple years back. She's a bad girl, right? She's a bad girl. 20 points tonight, right? Only 1 turnover. Latson, 21 points. 8 from 5 from the field, 1 out of 2 from 3. 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Only 3 turnovers. Man, Tanaya Latson, not only on the defensive end, she's bringing that offense that she had at Florida State here to our Gamecocks, putting up numbers. Raven still had a great game. She got in foul trouble a little bit at the beginning. She got in foul trouble a little bit in the first half, but guess what? Second half, she put the clamps on Michaela Blake's, right? Michaela Blake still had a good game, but old Raven Johnson, hey, just like she was on Caitlin Clark, sometimes those great scorers still gonna score, but you want to make it difficult. I think she had 2 or 3 blocks on Michaela Blake's, and hey, believe it or not, you go back and look at that second half of when Raven was guarding her, oh, she was making it work. Oh, Raven Johnson, seatbelt game, Raven Johnson, Crockpot, Hollywood Johnson, the truth, when it comes to guarding a scorer and playing that defense. Raven just has a knack for making those players work. And hey, even though Blake's, she probably had a decent game. I have to look at her stats here. Let's look and see what Michaela Blake's finished with. She finished with 23 points, but she was 9 out of 24 from the field. Remember this stat, right? And you guys probably already know this, but to my new subscribers, if you can ever make a score, shoot as many shots as they have points, you done your job, right? You've done your job. If she had 23 points and she had to take 24 shots to get them 23 points, she had 5 turnovers, that's the best you can do. That's the best you can do with Michaela Blake. She's a great scorer, y'all, and she's going to put up a lot of shots, right? But old Crockpot Raven did a great job on her versus the Vanderbilt Commodores. Bottom line, this wasn't about Vanderbilt. This was about South Carolina reminding everybody who they are. Us being a defensively led team first, even though we scored 103 points on the number 5 undefeated, might I add, Vanderbilt Commodores, who has a great squad. But hey, when we playing South Carolina Dawn Staley basketball, hey, we can hang and beat any team in the nation, guys. Just like the E in the end of the curve game plan that Coach Dawn Staley employed, when that energy meets the execution, the scoreboard doesn't lie. Hence, you have the result today. South Carolina Gamecocks 103, Vanderbilt Commodores 74. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to help grow the game of women's basketball, make sure you like, share, comment. Let me know what was the biggest turning point in this game and what do you look forward to seeing our Lady Gamecocks do this season. Y'all be blessed. Go Gamecocks.